Mrs. Dutta Writes a Letter is a short story by Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni that explores themes of cultural adaptation, generational conflict, and the power of communication (MRs). Dutta, an elderly Indian woman, has been living with her son and his family in the United States. She is deeply rooted in her Indian heritage and is struggling to adapt to her new life in a foreign land. Her son and daughter-in-law, on the other hand, have fully embraced American culture, and lifestyle conflict arises as Mrs. Dutta's traditional values clash with the modern values of her son's family. She feels isolated and out of place in the American household. She particularly feels estranged from her grandchildren, who are growing up in a culture very different from her own MRs. Dutta gets comfort in writing letters to her sister in India. These letters serve as a way for her to express her inner thoughts and feelings, as she feels unable to communicate effectively with her family through her letters. She shares her struggles, nostalgia for her homeland, and her loneliness. The turning point in the story comes when her son discovers one of her letters and realizes the extent of her unhappiness. He becomes more aware of the cultural divide between them and tries to bridge the gap by introducing her to American customs and inviting her to participate in family activities. However, these efforts are met with resistance from Mrs. Dutta. In the climax, Mrs. Dutta receives a letter from her sister in India, who has recently lost her husband. This news shocks and saddens her deeply. She reflects on her own life and decides to make a choice that will bring her some happiness. In the resolution, Mrs. Dutta decides to embrace her new life in America while still cherishing her Indian heritage. She starts participating in family gatherings and even tries her hand at cooking some American dishes. She begins to bond with her grandchildren, finding common ground through their shared love for music. This transformation marks a significant shift in her attitude and brings her closer to her family. In the story, Banerjee explores the complexities of cultural adaptation, intergenerational relationships, and the power of communication to bridge cultural divides. The story depicts the challenges faced by immigrants as they navigate the tensions between their heritage and the new culture they find themselves in. Ultimately provides the importance of understanding, empathy, compromise within families.